Welcome. This is Ben from Connecticut Local, and we are here today with Brian Williams. He's the rare advisor that speaks in plain English. He owns Northshire Consulting, an independent investment advisory firm based in Southington, Connecticut, and he focuses on helping business owners and families with investment management and planning. Brian, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to speak with us. So maybe tell us a little bit about your business, your background, and what you're going to do to help our local community here.
Yeah, that was a great introduction. Thank you for that. So, yeah, as you said, my name is Brian Williams. We're located in Southington, Connecticut, about the middle part of the state. And we are a registered investment advisory firm. And, I've been in the business for about 20 years, started my own firm around 3 years ago. And the idea was to bring a couple things together, to that very localized, personalized service by just being very direct and being able to help local small businesses, while at the same time not sacrificing anything on the large side, for example, technology and social media. So as you see, I've been working on some other projects. I have the green screen behind me right now, but we want to be able to deliver that localized service. Sometimes there's a thought that if you're shopping local, it's going to be a little bit more expensive or less sophisticated, and that you're giving something up, not dealing with a large national chain or franchise by shopping local. And we wanted to get the best of both worlds, bring that technology, bring that social media feel to small businesses, but without having to sacrifice the idea that you're shopping local. So being independent helps us eliminate a lot of the middlemen or middle people along the way and deliver a low cost, very personalized investment service to local small businesses and families, but not have to sacrifice anything on the technology side. So that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, so there's no third parties there, yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, let's take, for example, a 401k plan. You're going to have a record keeper, which is going to be a large national company. That's who you're going to log in to check your account balances and things like that. And also your investment options, your mutual funds, your ETFs. But you're going to have the face of your program as a small business, or the face of your investment planning or financial planning at the household level is going to be very localized. So you can do those virtual meetings, of course, but then you can also, hey, let's meet at the library or meet at the coffee shop or something like that.
Okay, so you said you started this 20 years ago. Was that in 2001?
Yeah, so I came out of school in 2000 and went right into the investment world and went into the financial planning side because I said, well, even if this as a career isn't something I'm going to enjoy, it'll be good for me personally, right? So you're 22 years old, you don't know anything about anything. So you're trying to learn for yourself as you're potentially taking on clients and using this as a profession. So, so I have some good experience, but I want to make sure that everything I deliver is objective. If I put 3 solutions on the table, I'm not going to get paid anymore if I go with solution A versus solution C.
Yes.
Right. Everything is going to be objective and in the best interest of the client.
Yeah, I think that's really good and also really important. So that's really awesome. And what areas do you serve?
Well, it's primarily the small business market, and I'd say that's probably 60 to 70% of the business. And when I say small business, I mean the smallest of the small. So the sole proprietors who are maybe starting a solo 401k or doing a SEP plan or something along those lines, to adding those first 2 to 5 employees. Now you're dealing with the local locksmith or the print shop or a technology company or something like that who's starting to add staff. And especially right now, it's been very difficult to recruit and retain talent for small businesses, right? Everybody's hiring, everybody's so to be able to put together a benefits package as a small business and have a retirement plan, have a 401k plan be part of it. That's one area where a small business with 5 employees can absolutely compete with a business with 500 or 5,000 employees. You can a lot of times actually deliver a better service or a better benefit to your employees as a small business, where, things like health insurance or something like that, it might be tough to compete with larger organizations, but certainly on the retirement plan side, you can offer a benefit that's second to none.
Okay. Yeah, that would be really helpful for when, yeah, I know, with other people that I work with, it's pretty hard to find people nowadays. So getting a good plan of finding those people, and so they go with you and not with those large companies, that's really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a small business owner and you're putting together a benefits package, that benefit package might be the difference between an employee choosing to go with your company or choosing to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for the small business owner, with the tax credits and how competitive that space is, it may not cost the small business owner anything to offer that benefit. So to be able to offer that to your employees is a significant value add.
Yeah. Because one of the largest limitations of growing a business is not being able to find employees to help you grow. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I think we already went through this, but what was it that made you want to start this business and not for, let's say, another type of business? You already, studied this, of course.
Yes. So I'd been in the business for, 16, 17 years before I decided to start my own. And the idea was kind of just that, cut out as many of the barriers and as many of the things that could add to cost. So I knew that with the area that I'm in, it's fairly densely populated. Our town here in Southington and the surrounding towns, there's a lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses. And it would be, there was a path to success there where just looking at the numbers in the area, I said, okay, if I can put these small business plans together, make their plans look give them the personalized service, but also make them look similar enough where some of the content that I'm putting out doesn't necessarily just apply to that company. You could send that out to 2 or 3 different companies and the employees of those companies. And that was really why I wanted to start my own. That was really the only path. Joining a larger firm or, going up market wouldn't give me the control and would have added extra layers of fees that I didn't think were needed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I think, starting your own company rather than going with a large firm, it has its challenges, but also it reaps the benefits when you start becoming successful. And also there's no boss telling you what to do, of course. You can decide how you want to create your life in your business and grow it accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. And as you know, the technology is the big equalizer, right? Even maybe 10 years ago, you might have had to go out and buy a $12,000 server to run all your software. And now everything is, cloud-based, it's all backed up. And, so all those barriers to entry, even from a compliance standpoint, that can be outsourced. A lot of those little tasks that might have burdened you, 5 or 10 years ago are just gone. You can outsource them.
Yeah.
They can be done very efficiently.
So what have been some of your biggest challenges along your entrepreneurial journey, and what lessons did you learn from them?
Yeah, I mean, as you start to do these interviews, you're probably going to get the big one, which is, the pandemic of the last 18 months or so.
I know.
That's been a challenge for me. A couple of the programs we rolled out were, in February, right before a lot of the stuff started. And for me, the challenges we've talked about already was, I want to do that personalized service. I want to be at that small business talking to the employees. So, so that presented a challenge right away. I think of some of those plans that I started in January or February of 2020, and you're saying, yeah, we're going to be in here every quarter and we're going to do quarterly meetings with your employees. And then, at the drop of a hat, you can't do that anymore. So that's obviously been a challenge, but it's also presented an enormous opportunity because you shift to this right away, right? And you go down that path of, standing in front of a room of 40 people and talking about the 401k. You get people who raise their hand, and that the question that they ask, there's probably 5 or 10 other people in the room who had that same question. So if you bring that to the virtual world and you say, if somebody calls me at 9 o'clock today and asks a question about what's a mutual fund or what's a 401k loan or something like that, that there's literally millions of people out there who probably have that same question. So you answer that question on the phone, and then you set up your camera and you do a video and you say, here's what a mutual fund is. Here's what a 401k loan is. And now you can speak to anybody who has a computer or has a phone. So it's pushed me into, you know, growing my Facebook group, which is called
Yeah.
401k and Beyond, growing that YouTube channel, to
Mm-hmm.
just be able to speak to more people at once.
Mm-hmm. And do you also use like online marketing such as Facebook ads to get people into your group from Connecticut?
Yeah, so our
Okay.
group, you know, our Facebook group, we started it in April of this year, 2021. We've grown pretty significantly. Our goal was to get about 1,000 people the first year.
Uh-huh.
6 months in, we had about 1,300 people in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So
Saw it.
I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. People ask a lot of good questions. Obviously, you can't give any specific investment advice to people because you don't know their whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody asks a question, you can answer that in a way that's general enough. You can say, well, a lot of people in your situation will look at this, blah, blah, blah. So just to be able to connect with so many people across the country, obviously it's got kind of a Connecticut focus. And I
Yeah.
think that's where the majority of the members are is here locally. But you know, you've got clients in there, you've got prospects, you've got friends and family in there. So it's been exciting to grow that. Same thing on the YouTube side. You know, a little bit over 1,000 subscribers now as we record this in November of 2021. So that part has been exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked at your YouTube channel and your group, and you know, it's growing pretty massively. Hundreds of views on your videos. That's not nothing. That's pretty
Right.
good. And you wouldn't have had this, let's say, before COVID, and you didn't start the YouTube channel, then you wouldn't have hundreds of views on your YouTube videos. You know, and right
Yeah.
now, like then it was you standing in front of 40 people and you know talking, and now it's you uploading a video on YouTube and getting say 200, 300 people watching it.
Right. Yeah. And that's been something that it's sort of forced me to. I've always kind of had that technology focus, but I
Mm-hmm.
certainly wouldn't have been, it certainly wouldn't have forced me in that direction so forcefully or so quickly. You know, and again, to be able to have that mix, I still, even with all the technology, there's still no substitute for getting in front of a room of people in person without
Yeah.
question.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that's different about that, especially if you're here locally, because remember,
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to a group of people on a Friday afternoon, and then Sunday morning they're seeing me at the grocery store, they're seeing me pumping
Yeah.
gas or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
you have that personal connection with people in so many different ways. They see you on Instagram, they see you on YouTube, and then they see you at the grocery store, they see you at work. So so a combination of all those things is what's really exciting right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely doing everything and getting yourself known. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So and this is a question that I ask very often. If you had to start over from day one, what would you have done differently?
Oh, well, I guess again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I probably would have started the social media stuff quicker. I would have tried to establish that base online. Primarily what I did early on was in-person networking, chambers, commerce, and things like that, which are still incredibly valuable. But I would have done the parallel tracks, you know, do the in-person stuff and do a little bit more online.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas early on, I'd been primarily focused on in-person and through email marketing and just through calls, et cetera. I would have started the social media a little bit earlier for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's very good for everyone that's listening right now, so that they can also take a look at their situation and their business if they might be uh, benefiting from doing more social media. So that's awesome that
Mhm.
you're sharing it.
Yeah.
And so for the customers, people watching, if a customer was to choose between your business and three others just like it, why would you suggest they at least give you a try first?
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to get a little technical here for the second, but one thing
Oh, that's cool.
one thing that's really important to know about our business is we don't do a great job of titling our professionals. Basically, anybody can call themselves a financial advisor,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
there's a couple different tracks that they can go down. So you have 12% of the industry that's considered fiduciaries that work in the best interest of the client. And those folks don't sell any products or put people down a path to get some kind of commission. It's just simply, you know, fee for service, like you would pay an accountant or an attorney. You're just simply paying for that advice. The majority of the business, that other 88%, are not considered fiduciaries or even considered kind of duly registered or something along those lines. So I think it's important just for a structure, whether they work with me or someone else, that's one of the first questions you ask. Are you a fiduciary? Do you work in the best interest of the client? Are you going to work in my best interest? So right at that question, you're going to eliminate basically 9 out of every 10 advisors. And then I think the second part of it is, it really is a personality business above everything else. I know I'm not going to click with everybody. Everybody's not going to click with me, and that's okay. But just make sure that you know, like, and trust the person that you deal with. And same thing on my end. We have to turn away a lot of clients because we just don't feel like it's going to be a good fit, or maybe they want to start a 401k plan for their business, but you just get a feeling that they're not going to follow all the rules and things like that. And you do your best to point them in the right direction and maybe have them move on somewhere else. But I think it's important, again, that you know, like, and trust that person, and they're working in your best interests. And I think the social media presence is a factor. So, maybe 20 years ago, you might have driven by somebody's office and looked at how big their building was or how nice their lawn was. Like, that's all done. Now it's like, all right, let's check this person out online. Let's check their, our industry doesn't have a lot of Google reviews and Facebook reviews because that's sort of been non-compliant for a long time. But, what is this person doing online? Do they have a Facebook group? What is their YouTube presence? What are the other videos that they're subscribing to, and what do they watch? Are they doing this kind of stuff? Are they trying to get out in the field? Are they an industry expert? Were they being guests on other people's shows in addition to having their own show? All that sort of stuff is, I think, how the next generation is choosing their advisors. Whoever has the biggest, shiniest building, and the fanciest conference room and the warmest cookies, that's all done. That's over. So, check your advisor out online, look at their social media presence, look at how they communicate. And are they going to do that mix of in-person and virtual stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if you're already doing this, but do you also have a blog where you're posting articles where people can, do some more research themselves and get some, knowledge about what they want to learn?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not doing enough of that. I'm not great at that. Writing, spelling is not my strong suit. That's why I love audio and video, because I can't spell anything wrong when I'm talking. But, we do put some blog posts out. A lot of times they're married to whatever social media content we put out. So if we do a video on, what is a mutual fund, we'll embed that video in a blog and talk about that. So, but I'm not a great blogger, not a great writer. I 100% know that's a weakness. But it's something maybe I should, look to adding in the future. But we do have a blog on NorthshireConsulting.com where we have some articles on there, but it's definitely not a strong suit.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you for doing this interview with me. I'll post your website, your Facebook group, and your YouTube channel in the description. And hopefully we'll get to talk again soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.